True wireless headphones are very hard to find on the market right now because there's so many options that are available. We've had a boom within the last couple of years of true wireless headphones. It almost feels like every company and their mom just has a pair of headphones and they're considered to be true wireless. But again, the set of features that make each pair unique are the things that make us look at them and consider one over the other. Today we're going to talk about the TicPods 2 Pro from Mobvoi. Sabaha everybody and welcome back to the channel. And I'm going to give you guys my review after using them for a week. A few set of features here that make it very, very unique is the fact that this not only supports aptX HD, great connectivity, great audio, but we're also talking about the fact that this supports gestures as well as touch sensitivity for initiating actions, also voice activation for our assistant to be able to initiate actions on our device using these pair of headphones. And last but not least, translation. This is TK and this is my review of the TicPods 2 Pro from Mobvoi. Let's check them out. Like and subscribe and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you're always notified whenever we have new videos on the channel. So here we have the packaging. Again, this is the Pro model, the TicPods 2 Pro. We offer for obviously true wireless. This is a true wireless pair of headphones, means there's no wire connectivity. Qualcomm aptX HD audio, which we'll see here, and I'll show you guys the feature. And we do need to have the application installed for us to be able to turn that feature on. TicHear and TicMotion, those are the things that I've talked about in the beginning. TicHear is the ability of initiating actions using our voice without touching them. TicMotion is that functionality of having gestures, the ability of using our head to actually initiate functionality on this headphones without even having to touch them. Looking on the back, we, as I mentioned to you guys, we have the aptX HD audio here. We have quick commands, which using voice commands, head gestures, which I mentioned to you guys, shaking our head up or down will actually initiate different functionalities, touch control, fast charging battery, as well as Bluetooth 5.0, voice assistant, Siri, or Google, depending on the phone that you're using these with, and of course up to 20 hours of audio playback. Of course, this is in combination between the actual pair of headphones and the case that's provided. TicMotion and TicHear, we'll get a chance to see them in the application on our smartphone. The first thing we'll notice when we open up the box is there's actually a small instruction manual on how to connect it, how to make sure it's connected to your device, charging it. It explains to you the 3 different modes, the TicHear, which obviously gives us the ability of using voice control, TicMotion, the ability of actually answering or hanging up calls by just shaking our head, and then Tickle Area, which essentially is the ability of using the touch sensitive areas on these headphones to be able to answer, hang up phone calls, raise and reduce the volume, or even touch and hold to initiate our assistant. The really cool thing about this is that this will actually work with both Android and iOS, so this will launch either Siri or the assistant depending on who you're using. And here we have the actual case itself, USB-C connectivity. They do include a USB-C cable here. Let's go ahead and open it up. There's a small booklet again with some more information. Last but not least, just USB-C to USB-A connected but cable. I would have wished it actually matched it because this kind of doesn't look like they match. But overall, they do include a cable, but you should be able to charge these with any kind of charger that uses USB-C. For me, I've been charging them with the same one I use to charge my McLaren, so it just works very nicely. I don't have to carry an extra cable or anything. Now, if we look at the actual casing, it's very nice. It's very thin. Overall, we have a couple of LEDs here just to indicate charging. So let's go ahead and open up the case and close it again. You'll notice they turn green, and they do turn red when the actual battery gets depleted. And if you're charging, they go all the way green till it actually hits 100%, and then it just turns off. Now, they're rated to actually give you roughly about 20 hours worth of playback. And I can tell you that from the last time that I charged these, which was actually last Thursday, once I started working with them, I charged them to 100%. I actually haven't had the chance to be able to charge them again because I haven't actually depleted the battery all the way. Whenever I'm able to use it and I don't need to necessarily have them connected, I always connect it and I end up just basically using it. So we'll get a chance to see how the battery life is on the actual device. The case is magnetic. There is a cover on the top which allows it not to fall out. Once you open it up, you're greeted directly with the actual TicPods. There's the right and the left, and they're very easy to see. Once you remove them, there's some connectors in there to be able to charge them, and the pins are matched over here. Once you have it connected in here, you'll notice that the actual lights will turn on, indicating the battery level that you have. Once you remove, if you want to pair them to a new device, you'll actually have to basically press and hold this button, which will initiate the functionality. So press and holding it for 30 seconds will initiate the blue lights on these LEDs, which means that it's ready to pair to a new device. Now, you don't necessarily have to use these with your smartphone alone. You can actually use them with your smartwatch if you have an LTE connectivity like the TicWatch Pro here that we have from last year. And what enables us to have here essentially is a truly wireless connectivity. You can launch basically your favorite music application directly on the watch and then listen to them on the actual headphones as you're going for a run, and you don't even have to bring your phone. So it makes it really functional, specifically if you have LTE on your watch, so you don't have any worries as far as connection or even quality of audio. To be able to control all the functionalities on these headphones, you do need to actually install the Mobvoi application. Now, if you're already using it with the TicWatch Pro 4G like the way I am, this pretty much just adds a second functionality here for the second device that you have connected once you have it paired. Now, of course, you can use them without this application, but you do lose on a lot of functionalities, and I'll explain to you what they are. Overall, once you have them connected, you just need to open it up, and as soon as you take them out of the actual headphone, the case itself, they'll start connecting, and they'll connect to the last device that you have them. You notice right there, it gives you, and it also does mention that it is connected to aptX. It'll give you the battery percentage on the case as well as the actual headphones, and you can actually see that the case itself is about 40% right now, and the headphones are 100%. So it's been running very, very nice for me. Configuration is very simple. We have the ability to get in there, and we'll get into that translation in a second. You have the name, the quick password, invoking headset. This is to be able to use voice commands, so we'll go ahead and turn that on here. We have in-ear play, as well as basically the recognition there. Head control to be able to answer or hang up calls by just shaking our head either down or sideways. aptX HD is off by default, and you're turning it on here to be able to use it. Last but not least, we have the functionality for double-clicking when you're using it. And then of course, I can also go here and explain to you guys all the other functionalities as far as gestures using the touch-sensitive areas on the actual headphones, which is present on both ears. We do have a built-in EQ that gives us the ability of configuring it. You can go from standard all the way up to mega bass, depending on what you want. And they actually do sound great. Even though these are not going to seal your ears, these are going to be sitting in your earlobe. For the most part, the sound quality is actually pretty good, and they generate enough bass. Beep setting, headset touch if you want to actually activate them, and of course, updating to the latest software, which seems like there is an update right now. And this was actually the first update I've received since I've had them. Common problems for issues, feedback, and of course, unbounding if you don't want to use it there. Last but not least, they also have a functionality here for translation, which is really functional. I'll give it a second to turn on. And what we have here essentially is the ability of using the headphones and the smartphone to initiate translation when we're traveling. Now, the cool thing about this is not a subscription-based service. It's functional. As long as you have an internet connectivity active on your phone, you should be able to use it. You have the functional areas where you're able to use mobile session translation mode, meaning everything is done on the smartphone. You can also use headset session, which gives you the ability of using the top piece as a headset, which meaning I can speak from the headset and the phone will translate here. And then last but not least, we have the ability of using text input if you want to go that way. And of course, here you can see your history, and of course canceling if you don't want to do that. And as far as the languages, we have a few set of languages. We can actually go ahead and select it. We have Chinese, Japanese, Korean, French, German, Thai, Arabic, and the list does go on. And it actually covers a general list of languages. And the main benefit here is that as long as you have this device connected to a network with the headphones in your ear, you should be able to translate, and then the people that you're talking to can actually speak back to you by pushing the button. Otherwise, the app will actually speak the words back to you. This way is you insert the headphones into your ear and you press and hold on the headset. And then you'll notice right there that the audio starts getting recorded because we'll see that indicator. And of course, all of that will show up here. We'll let it finish.
ستلاحظ هناك حق آن الصوت يبدأ الحصول عليه تسجيل لأنك ستري آن المؤشر وبطبيعة الحال كل ذلك سوف تظهر هنا وسوف ندعه الانتهاء.
Now the translation is pretty much coming to more formal Arabic, not Lebanese, so there's no accent support, but it actually should be good enough to be able to communicate with somebody that speaks the language. شكرا جزيلا على كل مساعدتك. خلينا نتحدث مرة ثانية إن شاء الله. So the translation did miss a few things at the end, but for the most part, that is correct. Thank you very much for your help is what I actually said in Arabic, and it translated specifically back, and it actually plays back in the ears. Now, as far as fit, for me, these fit very nicely. It sits straight into the ear. It does not actually cover the entire ear, so for the most part, I'm still able to hear things outside. So putting them in will not block any audio. So there's no actual active noise cancellation or noise reduction. For the most part, if you have them in there and you're not using them, you should be able to hear the exact same way if you didn't have them in there. They don't seal your ear. Where they really do function very nicely is the ability of actually using all of these things. Like again, I mentioned there's some good bass in there. The EQ that's built in here is actually pretty nice. But what I like about them is the fact that they're just very light. I haven't had them jump or fall out of my ear for any reason, even when I did go running with them. So that's depending on the experience that you're doing. Now, I didn't do trail running, so I wasn't really bouncing all over the place. This is more consistent running speed on a treadmill or even outdoors. So those are the things you want to keep in mind. Let's go ahead and do a quick call to my phone, and I just want to show you guys how to actually answer or even hang up on a call. So I'll go ahead and dial it right now. I'm using one of my other phones. I'll give it a second. And as you can see right here, the phone is actually answering. So I'm just going to go ahead and reject the call. And you notice right there, my smartphone already basically disconnected the call and is sending me straight to voicemail. Now, had the situation been when I actually did answer the call, let's go ahead and call it one more time. So like I said, shaking sideways, basically doing a natural no sign on your face, will actually just turn it off. So if I do up and down, it answers the call and actually puts it through. So really, really nice, and actually does put it through directly to the headphones. The functionality is actually pretty good. I've basically mostly used it whenever I do get like spam calls, so I've been rejecting them for the most part. But if I do want to answer it, it is very nice. But you do need to make it a very clear up and down gesture for it to recognize it. Other than that, as far as functionalities with the all the other stuff, it has a very nice fit in your ear. Battery life is roughly about 4 hours or so on a single charge for the headphones themselves, and then you can put them back in the case to be able to charge them a few more times. Now on the Pro, for some reason, they have less audio time because of the aptX HD, and what I also see here that he does actually also have the IPX4, which means this is water and dust splash resistant. So splash water resistant. This is not going to be good if you're trying to dunk it in water, but if let's say you're out in the rain and you're running or you're sweating a little bit, should not be any problems. The functionalities as far as the gestures are actually very, very nice. So I can actually just press and hold, and you'll notice right there that the assistant will go ahead and initiate on my smartphone. The other thing, you can also use the voice activation. So their keyword is different than the obviously Hey assistant that we normally use. So it's Hey Tico. And you'll notice right there, it initiates the assistant on my phone. So the way it works, essentially, it has its own active word, and you do need to turn that functionality in the app. Once you have that active, even if your phone is in your pocket and you want to be able to initiate it and ask, let's say, a question for the assistant, it's very simple. You just use that voice command, it initiates it on your smartphone without even having to unlock it. So you can play a track, skip a track, go back and forth, all of those things without even having to touch your phone. If you want to be able to do those functionalities, as I mentioned to you guys before, you can actually just basically press and hold the touch sensitive area, which they're calling the tickle area, and you can configure it. So audio control works very nicely. The audio will play directly in my ears. I'll go ahead and start the song on the smartphone. And this is Jumbo by Alex Crindo. It's a non-copyrighted song. But again, I can raise the volume, and you guys can actually see this phone right here. So go ahead and raise the volume. And all I'm doing is literally, if I want to skip songs, works the same way. Want to initiate the assistant, stop music. And the assistant will actually initiate that functionality and stop the music. Audio quality, definitely very nice. You're able to configure it either by using the EQ or even the aptX HD toggle. By default, they're both off, so basically you're set to default, as well as no aptX HD. Turning both of those on and configuring it will give you that sweet spot for the quality of audio. It actually does become a little bit fuller when you turn on aptX HD, which is something that you can't do without the app. So you do need to use the Mobvoi app directly on your smartphone, either iOS or Android, to be able to get the best experience. Battery life has definitely been consistent, about 4 hours or so, depending on the volume that you're playing with, and then you can recharge it as many times as you'd like to be able to get that basically up to 20 hours with the Pro. Now, supposedly the standard model, the TicPods 2, definitely give you a longer battery life, slightly by like 3 hours, but I think that's because it doesn't also support aptX HD, so there's a functionality there that will drain the battery a little bit. As far as range, I've been able to go up to 15 feet away from my phone without any issues with a wall between me and my smartphone. So overall connectivity should not be an issue. You can set it down on the table and walk away. We do have a noise cancellation or noise canceling mics to be able to give you great audio on the Pro model. So that's something to keep in mind, as well as basically aptX4, which is splash resistance against water in case you do basically go out in the rain. They're priced very nice. They're definitely very good. A great companion to a smartphone or even a smartwatch that's connected via LTE if you'd like to go for a run, go basically in an area where you just don't want to have your smartphone with you all the time. TicWatch Pro, if you'd like, I'll give you guys a link to that in the description below, showcasing some of the main features in my review that I did for them not that long ago. Thank you to Mobvoi for allowing me to check out the TicPods 2 Pro and of course sharing with you guys my experience. Let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think of these new pair of true wireless headphones and the functionalities that we have here. Not only do we have touch sensitivity, voice activation, but as well as gestures using our head to be able to answer and hang up calls, and of course all the other options with the true wireless and all of that. Last thing I do want to mention to you guys is, of course, please do not play audio on any pair of headphones to the maximum, as that could definitely damage your ears. And of course, this is one of the main things that we always need to be aware of with any pair of headphones, is that our hearing is always precious. We cannot get it back if we lose it. So play responsibly, enjoy the music, and of course, enjoy this new pair of headphones. And of course, like and subscribe as usual, and I will see you guys in the next video.